Hello, beautiful people. How are we doing today? We are back at it once again for the book Excuse Me, Your Life is Waiting by Lynn Grabhorn. And just to let you guys know, give you a heads up, this particular part is going to be a little bit long, so I'm probably going to go over that 10 to 15 minute mark. We're probably looking more like 15 to 20 minutes. But it is totally worth it because this is all about bad stuff. And if you watched the last video, I hope you guys did, they go into a lot of controversial things. And I'm just telling you guys to just continue to keep an open mind because a lot of this stuff really does make sense when you break it down and, really dissecting the intricacies of when it comes to understanding the law of attraction. So let's go ahead and get into it. Because like I said, this is going to be a long read, but enjoy it because it is going to be a great subject. All right, here we go. And let's just get you queued up.
Every time I speak to a group about flowing energy, questions about world affairs and all the awful stuff that's going on or has gone on always seem to surface. How come so many starving people? What about Hitler? What about the Indians? Etc., etc., etc. I don't want to spend a lot of time dwelling on these things because, in a sense, we've already talked about them. But let's take a quick look at some of the most common questions to see if we can reach a once and for all understanding that, from the beginning of time, every experience in every life has been attracted through individual and or group energy flow. And hey, I'm no cold-blooded sadist, suggesting in these next few paragraphs that it's possible to watch someone beating up on somebody and feel swell about it, any more than I'm saying a detached, tut-tut, too bad, to the atrocities happening around the world today. All I'm saying here is this is how it comes about. Because whatever is happening always comes back to that same bottom line. When we feel good, or happy, or pleased, or enthusiastic, or loving, as an individual or as a group, we're inviting good experiences. When we feel bad, or bitter, or guilty, or resentful, or distressed, as an individual or as a group, we're inviting bad experiences. That's the way of it everywhere, with all of us. Rape. One person is thinking fearfully about what they don't want. Somewhere else, another person is vibrating on the same negative frequency, but with hostility rather than fear. The second person thinks about what he believes will appease his rage and fill his emptiness. One person is vibrating fear. The other is vibrating inner fury. By their own matching frequencies, they become co-creators to an ugly event. If you don't give your attention to the things you do not want, they cannot become a part of your experience because they will not be included in your vibrations. You can only attract the rapist, murderer, or robber by thinking emotionally about being that victim, or by vibrating with other negative emotions that just happen to match the attacker's frequency. Your every emotion creates the experiences of your life.
Wow.
Prejudice. Needless to say, there are all kinds of prejudice: race, religion, color, sex, body weight, education, etc. Yet the one who is feeling prejudiced against is the most powerful in this co-creation, flowing out strong negative vibrations of persecution, of being disliked, wronged, or victimized. Please note, I am not arguing the rightness or wrongness of any group's grievances. This is simply to say that it is the persistent attention to injustices which attract more of the same. Creation comes from feelings. Young kids. What about young kids being raped, or being born unwhole, or starving in Africa, or being killed in regional wars? Sad to say, they have usually picked up the negative vibrations from their folks well before being born.
Mhm.
Those vibrations stay with them and grow in direct relation to the vibrations of the adults who are raising them until the youngsters are old enough to decide they no longer want unpleasant experiences in their lives. These children have become victims by default. How do you help a little one starving halfway around the world? Or a little one at home who understands no words as yet? Hold them, either physically or in your thoughts, with soothing vibrations such as, everything is really all right. It's going to pass. You are so loved, etc. Taking care not to assign blame to anyone or any group, which only contributes more energy to the abuser or the situation, as well as the abused.
Mhm.
The biggest problem comes to those who make it to adulthood and continue to vibrationally relive their snarly angers of growing up. For example, the abuse of their parents, their environment, etc. Only by overriding those old patterned responses of hate and mistrust can a person have any hope of not repeating in adult years what was lived as a child. We get what we focus on. Focus on an ugly past, and that past is magnetized into the present and future. Teens. Suicides, car accidents, pregnancy, drugs, guns. When teenagers are raised in negative energy, which rarely shows on the surface, and are taught only guardedness from birth, they operate primarily in a state of fearful vulnerability, feeling out of control. They live by negative wanting as they search for ways to reconnect with the positive energy of life. Drugs, sex, and other taboos are what they choose to fill the void they feel, born of a life lived with little or no connection to their source energy.
Mhm.
The apparently blameless auto deaths, which seem so prevalent today, may or may not come from that disconnected vulnerability, but their cause is never accidental. The bubbly young homecoming queen, the popular star quarterback, the kids just along for the ride in the back seat. A life of hidden fears, pressures, and anxieties of some kind finally manifests to attract these co-creations of immeasurable grief.
Mhm.
The economy. In bad times, people talk about it everywhere you go, and it's all bad, bad, bad.
Mhm.
Yet even in good times, we seem compelled to attack something. Prices are too high, corporations too greedy, jobs too specialized. The president's not playing with a full deck. The government is out to lunch and corrupt to the core.
Hmm.
Pointing to anything, with that negative vibration of blame or ain't it awful, tisk tisk, flows that very same energy to the subject of attention, making it bigger, stronger, and more dangerous than it was before you started bad-mouthing it. If you're waiting for the economy, the government, or anything else to change before you can be happy, you might have a long wait. But neither do you have to join in the griping, which not only adds to the already sizable problem, but shuts your valve down tight. When you get involved in this kind of gloomy, negative party talk, either take your conversation and focus off what is and change the subject, or walk away. Then, when you're by yourself and you want to really make a difference, flow some feel-good energy to the government the way you would like it to be, to the presidency the way you would like it to run, to the industrial giants the way you would like them to function. We cannot separate ourselves from consciousness flow. We cannot say, well, it wasn't my fault this happened. Oh, yes, it was. It was, and is, the fault of each and every one of us. We are a part of that consciousness flow, and our energy affects the whole as strongly as adding drops of red ink to a small glass of water. the change is clearly evident. We are not separate from the whole. Everything we think and feel has monumental impact on the overall vibration of mass consciousness. So see and then feel things to be the way you'd like them to be. It would take only a few of us doing this on a regular basis to initiate desired changes. A noble goal, perhaps, but it beats making things any worse than they are by ain't it awfuling the situations you want to change. Global conflicts, gang wars. Whenever you see a group of any kind expressing hate or outrage, you're seeing a group very cut off from their flow of well-being and completely out of harmony with their expanded selves. Living in bitterness and anger is living with one whale of a lot of negative emotion and a valve that's closed tight. When valves are open, no gang law, no government ultimatums can ever be strong enough to set anyone against his brother, even within the context of the age-old bitterness in the Near East. Moral issues. Abortion, the butchery of dolphins, the rainforests, the ozone layer, animal rights, evangelistic thievery, mercy killings, endangered species, etc., etc. If you are giving your attention to it, seeing only the horror, feeling the transgressions, experiencing the alarm, and joining everyone else in the ain't it awful syndrome, you are adding to it, making it bigger. If you want to change something, you've got to change the way you're thinking about it.
Right.
That's all there is to it. The reason all these things are getting so out of hand is that the media focuses on them with a gargantuan hunger, and therefore, so do we.
Right.
Oh dear. Oh my God, no. I don't believe it. How terrible. What will we do? How could they? Frightful. Appalling. And the more we get all riled up about it, the bigger it gets. Being against something isn't going to make it better. In fact, it's going to make it worse, because now you're including it in your vibration, flowing more, ain't it awful out there, to join with other thought forms vibrating at the same frequency. If you still think that in order to be for something, you have to be against something else, change your thinking. Instead, see and feel whatever it is you're crusading for the way you want it to be. Talk about it in that way. Write about it. Role play it. Take your destructive focus with its powerfully destructive energy off what you perceive as a negative condition and find ways to open your valve when you think about it. In other words, quit with the don't wants and focus on your wants. The moment you do that, the moment you refuse to wallow with the rest of the world in their endless discontent, you will become one who will make a momentous difference by flowing the magnitude of your higher vibrations. Mass killings. All right, let's get down to it. Genocides, bloodbaths, holocausts, massacres. Call them what you will. Humans have been clobbering humans since the beginning of time. Will it ever stop? No, not until we let go of our intrinsic feelings of persecution that we hang on to as if they were some noble family tradition. If we truly want to stop these heinous events, we would be wise to remove our focus from the sordid happenings of the past and turn our attention to matters which open us to well-being rather than hate. It is that very energy, that loathing and bitter anger over bygone injustices, which helps to perpetuate the grim mass slaughters going on this day all over our planet. We get what we focus on. The law of attraction doesn't pick and choose. What applies to an individual applies to a group, no matter the culture, the religion, the race, or the sect. Negative focus attracts negative events to ourselves and to the planet. Like attracts like, and we attract as we vibrate, not as we decide.
All
Our
right.
mirror, the globe.
Okay, you guys. Well, like I told you, this is a very controversial subject. Definitely comment down below how you guys feel hearing all this. Um, I'm still, even years after listening to this multiple times, I'm still trying to process it all. Um, but it really comes down to it, and she's trying to simplify it as much as possible. What you focus on expands, and it doesn't matter. There's no exception to the rule, and I think the more you try to fight that, the harder that this just becomes. But if you really look into it, and that means just you really focusing on what it is that you truly want, and that's all you focus on, and focus on what's working, then you'll get it, right? And so again, this is not an on and off switch when it comes to understanding the law of attraction. It's just whether you're using it to your advantage. And these are techniques, now that you fully understand how the law of attraction works, that you can now use these in positive ways. And the other big thing is we create our own reality, right? Whether it's a simulation or, however you want to look at it, you are creating what you see, and what you see every day. It starts within the mind. And all she's saying is that if you don't see these things, and you're not in that low vibration, you can't match with other things that might be going on in the world, because we can't control what everybody else is doing. We could just control us. And that's really what she's trying to convey as best as possible, and I commend her for talking about such controversial subjects, because a lot of people don't. I know The Secret kind of touches on the news and the media and outlets and things like that, but you're starting to dive a little bit deeper into really understanding how this works. So hope you guys really enjoyed that. I know it was tough, but again, thank you so much for being open-minded. Definitely comment down below what you guys think, your thoughts. Be open. I mean, listen, this is a safe space. I understand, maybe you might be hearing this for the first time. Mention that. I really do love the feedback. It seems like a lot of you guys are really enjoying this and getting really good insight from all of this, and that's why I do this. So if you haven't already, like and subscribe. Make sure that you hit that notification bell so that you don't miss anything, because I am posting these daily. Pass it on, share if you want, but I would definitely be careful, because I mean, if you're just sharing this part and you don't share the rest, it might be them getting hit by a fire hose, and it might be a little too controversial. So be gentle and be understanding of people. And again, we don't want to we don't want to make anything less um serious when it comes to what people are going through in their situations, because I mean, yes, it is very real in that moment. But the good thing is that you understand that it is something that also can be a blessing, or you can at least be thankful for it, or it creates the person that you are. And as long as you're here today, that's all you're thankful for. And it could have been worse. So there's just different ways to look at it. And it's not being insensitive, it's just controlling your emotions, so that your emotions that you think that you aren't controlling don't control you. And that's the key. All right, you guys, so until next time, you guys make it a great day and take care. Bye bye.